April 4th, 1945. The Allied armies were racing across Germany. Spring had arrived early. The air was warm, the trees were blooming, and the countryside looked peaceful, almost beautiful. Then the jeeps of the U.S. 4th Armored Division drove down a quiet country road near the town of Gotha and slammed into an invisible wall. Not a wall of concrete, a wall of smell. It was thick, crushing, unbearable. Soldiers gagged and covered their mouths. It smelled like rotting flesh, burning hair, like hell itself. General George S. Patton was riding in his command car. He sniffed the air and frowned. At first, he thought it must be a chemical plant, maybe a glue factory processing dead animals. He turned to his officers. "What is that smell?" "Find out." A few hours later, a jeep came racing back to headquarters. The officer inside was pale, shaking. He looked like a man who had seen a ghost. "General," he said quietly, "you have to come see this. You won't believe it." Patton didn't hesitate. What he saw changed him forever. The place was called Ohrdruf, the first Nazi concentration camp liberated by the U.S. Army on the Western Front. A subcamp of Buchenwald. Patton, known as Old Blood and Guts, a man who loved war, who had seen thousands of dead bodies on battlefields across Europe, walked behind a shed and vomited. But when the sickness passed, something else took over. Rage. Cold. Focused. Terrifying. The SS guards had fled, but not before trying to erase their crimes. Prisoners too sick to walk were machine-gunned. Bodies were stacked inside sheds and covered with quicklime to dissolve the flesh. They ran out of time. American soldiers walked through the gates and were met by living skeletons. Men in striped uniforms weighing barely 60 or 70 pounds. Hollow eyes. Sunken faces. They didn't cheer. They were too weak. They simply touched the American tanks, weeping, pressing their hands against the white stars on the armor, just to make sure it was real. General Walton Walker called Patton immediately. "General, come now." Soon, Patton, Omar Bradley, and Dwight D. Eisenhower stood together inside the camp, the three most powerful men in the American Army. They thought they were hardened. They were wrong. Inside the roll call square were piles of naked bodies, stacked like firewood. 20, 30, 40 at a time, starved, shot in the back of the neck. Patton stared at them in silence. "My God," a survivor crawled toward him, trying to kiss his boots. Patton gently stepped back and helped the man stand. His eyes were filled with tears. Then they entered the torture shed, a whipping block stained dark with dried blood. Hooks on the walls where men were hung by their necks until they suffocated. A prisoner who spoke English explained how guards beat inmates to death for fun. Eisenhower turned white. Bradley couldn't speak. Patton was shaking. He walked behind the shed again. His aides watched his shoulders heave. The toughest general alive was sick to his stomach. When he returned, his voice had changed. This was no longer a general speaking. This was a prosecutor. He turned to a young military policeman. "Did the people in the town know about this?" "They say they didn't, sir. They thought it was a prison for criminals." Patton laughed, a dark, bitter laugh. "They didn't know? The smell alone covers the entire county." They knew. Then he gave an order that history would never forget. "Round them up. Bring the mayor. Bring his wife. Bring the baker. Bring the butcher. Every leading citizen." The MP hesitated. "Sir, what if they refuse?" Patton rested his hand on the ivory handle of his revolver. "They won't." The next morning, trucks arrived at the gates. The citizens of Ohrdruf stepped out, men in suits, women in dresses, dressed neatly for Sunday best. Some complained about the smell. Some covered their noses in disgust. Patton watched them coldly, marched them through, don't let them look away. If they closed their eyes, MPs shoved them forward. They were shown the bodies, the whipping block, the ovens, the open, staring eyes of the dead. Talking stopped. Complaints stopped. Only flies and silence remained. Some civilians fainted. Others cried. Some stared at the ground. They had always known. They just chose not to look. Patton walked up to the mayor. The mayor said nothing. He just shook with shame. Patton turned to his staff. "They're not a master race," he said. "They're people who lost their souls." That night, Patton wrote to his wife. "I have never felt such anger, but I believe we taught them a lesson they will never forget." For some, the lesson was too much. The next morning, American soldiers knocked on the mayor's door. Inside, they found the mayor and his wife dead. A note that general. He was a human being staring into pure evil and refusing to look away.